Good afternoon. Today is April the 20th. It is our 28th day of reading the Gospels in 30 days. How's your reading coming? It's great to be back together for these last few days of reading. Today we're in John chapter 14, 15, and 16. Yesterday you read John's account of the Last Supper in John chapter 13. And today you are cruising into Jesus' last times with the disciples according to the Gospel of John. John 14, 15, and 16 are very familiar passages to you. Some of my favorite Bible verses and Bible passages are here. In John chapter 14, Jesus assures the disciples that there is a place, a life after this. Don't let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it weren't so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. Of course, Thomas asked Jesus, how do we know the way? And Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Jesus, very exclusive claim that we still rely on and call true today. In chapter 15, of course, very famous vine and the branches passage, verse 5, I'm the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And then on down in verse 11, verse 10, if you keep my commands, you will remain in my love. And then in verse 11, I've told you this, that my joy may be in you and your joy might be complete. So, how do we find joy in this life? Following Jesus' commands to us. Um, verse chapter 16 is really very interesting. It's kind of a case study that Jesus gives on what resistance is going to look like for the disciples. Leading into chapter 16, Jesus tells the disciples, if the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you don't belong to the world because I've called you out of the world. Jesus says that he will turn the disciples' grief into joy. And the last verse in chapter 16 says this, I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. God bless you. John 14 through 16. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow for John chapter 17, 18, and 19.